Hi guys, it's Steve Ockdale here with you from SMA Digital, and I've just had the most amazing interview with Emma Hammett from First Aid for Life, who has been a client of ours for a number of years, but in the last 6 months, she's had some absolute phenomenal success with a quiz that we helped her build around confidence and first aid sort of traits, and she's managed to have literally over 18,000 people fill in her quiz who are high quality sort of leads and come into a database, and she's continued to nurture them. It's been absolutely amazing. Yes, that's right, 18,000 people. Incredible. And so really, really grateful for her. She's now opened up exactly what she's done, all the way from how she started off the quiz in the first place, how she developed it, what sort of Facebook ads she started doing in the first place, how much she was spending to begin with. She opens up her Facebook so we get to see exactly what sort of ads she's running. And by the way, it's actually a lot simpler than you think. And she's opened up how she's now gone on to nurture the people and her sales funnel that's involved, and how she continually gives away free sort of content and quality sort of things to nurture them. Basically, step by step, exactly what she's done, completely transparent about how she's managed to get these 18,000 people filling in her quiz and what she's done all around that and how that's impacted her and her business. It's an amazing, amazing interview. So make sure you grab a pen and paper, grab a cuppa if you want one, and get ready to jot down a lot of different notes, because there are a lot of different insights that she has time and time again around marketing and running her business, and what she's learnt practically as a business owner and what it takes. So hope you enjoy it, and do let us know your thoughts and comments anywhere below. Thank you very much. Cheers. Okay, hello everybody, and I'm welcome to this recorded video. I'm here with Emma Hammett from First Aid for Life, who runs a number of sort of companies under First Aid for Life, including onlinefirstaid.com and firstaidforpets.net, which are some pretty innovative sort of businesses within the first aid space. So Emma, thank you so much for joining me on today's call. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
That's great. Now, Emma, obviously we've known each other for quite a few years now, and you've been a client of ours for a number of years. But in the last 6 months, it's been some interesting sort of developments with a quiz that was sort of helped develop with you together. And I wanted to sort of share with our audience exactly what sort of results you've had with this quiz, what sorts of things you've done to be able to deliver those results. So to give a bit of context around that, I think to begin with, let's just talk about what you actually do in your business so that people can sort of understand the scope of that and bring context to everything else we discuss today. So do you want to just start with introducing what First Aid for Life is all about?
Yeah, absolutely. So First Aid for Life provides award-winning practical first aid training to anyone that wants it. We provide it nationally throughout the UK. Onlinefirstaid.com, which you very kindly helped me to develop, are 36 online courses which range from completely free right through to really comprehensive courses that people can access worldwide. And they're great for refreshers. They give them an appointed person qualification, and they're for all sorts of different specialist organisations, and for first aid for babies, and first aid for teenagers, so you can do your Duke of Edinburgh through them, and all sorts of other elements. And then we've got firstaidforpets.net, which is first aid for pets. So that is a new business, if you like. So in the States and in Australia, it's mainstream to have first aid for pets, and the British Red Cross and St John Ambulance all provide first aid for pets. In the UK, it's a new business and a new market. The same with online first aid. It's an emerging market, and it's really beginning to take off. And the Health and Safety Executive now are fully behind blended learning, which is an online pre-learning followed by a practical course to get your Health and Safety Executive regulated training. So it's, we've got a very established market, we've got an emerging market, and we've got a really new market. So it's an exciting space to be in.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing what you're up to, actually, Emma. So let's talk about First Aid for Life as a business in total. How old is it? How long ago did you actually begin First Aid for Life?
We started 11 years ago. So the other bit that we haven't mentioned is Stay Safe for older people as well, which is a sort of a social cause that we started, which we believe is really important. So that's just a sort of social side of things to try and group all the information together for older people and those that care for them. But First Aid for Life is we've been going 11 years, so it's in an established business in an established market, and it's highly competitive, and there are no barriers to entry. So anyone can set up as a first aid trainer or a first aid training company anywhere in the UK. You can just do it, which is quite frightening, I think, because you can do it with no real qualifications.
Yeah, that is quite frightening. And over your 11 years, prior to having this quiz over the last sort of 6 months or so, what sort of marketing or how have you been getting your business and running the courses and filling up the classes?
Well, my strategy has always been content-based. So I think before it became quite hip and trendy to do content-based marketing, it felt like the right thing to do for my business. So it was something that I always wanted to do, and I always started off doing. So I have been blogging from the start, and I've been blogging regularly, and I've been spending a long time on my blogs to ensure that they are absolute top quality information going out, which means that I blog for the likes of Huffington Post and the Mail and BBC, and I write for the British Dental Journal and the British Journal of School Nurses and various other sort of high profile journals and organisations, which means I then get backlinks from them and I get to access their customers. And it's taken a long time to work up and get to that level, but that is probably one of the main reasons, or the main ways that I've been marketing. And obviously through that and through the content-driven side of things, you then have a good quality newsletter that you're sending out to your list, which we'll get on to the quiz later, and how the quiz has helped me to further build my list massively. And then you've also got fabulous content that you can put onto Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and all the other social media that you then have something that you can tell people about that means they then want to follow you back. So that's been very much what I've been trying to do. And obviously social media is absolutely intrinsic to that.
Yep. So a lot of that has been about basically developing really good, high quality content and then using all the various channels to basically get it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's pretty amazing stuff.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell. Well, let's talk about your quiz results, and then we'll step back to the very start of the quiz and how it all got created. So in terms of the quiz results, I'll put it up here so everyone can see that we're not just making up results out of thin air. Here are actually it's gone up now since I saw it a few days ago, Emma.
It goes up continually. I have those little alerts pinging through. It goes up continually and it adds to my list, and it's really high quality leads. Can people see them underneath our pictures on there? Because I can see our pictures on the top of the main.
Oh, here on Zoom. Yeah, people will be able to see the full screen when they see this video.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So they'll be able to see the results. So I'll just zoom in as well. But basically you can see here, you've now got over 18,000 entries, which are unique people filling in your quiz, which has been, what's that been, 6 months or so?
Started end of January.
End of January, so a little over 6 months.
Beginning of February, I think. Yeah, it really took off.
It's pretty amazing results there, Emma. What's that sort of done for your list, like you were sort of saying, and what's that done for your business in general?
Well, it's exponential, totally exponential. So I get Yeah, I mean, we all talk about having an ideal lead magnet and getting that magic bullet that's going to make people want to sign up to your list. I mean, this has been it for me. I have high quality leads landing into my list, on a minute by minute, hour by hour basis. You can't ask better than that, and it's not costing me a bean.
Yep. Do you want to explain that a little bit further in terms of how it's not costing you? Because I know you are paying for ads.
Mm-hmm. I'm paying a lot for ads on Facebook. I'm paying £36 a day for my ads.
Yep.
But because we can track it all,
yep,
I'm actually converting these people into sales, and the sales are paying for my ads. So it's a lovely circle. And I'm probably not going to go much above £36 a day, because that's a lot of money. And the advice I've had from Facebook as well is, I mean, it's costing me 4p a lead. Wow. It's gone down from what it was doing before.
Wow.
So the advice that Facebook have given me is that you just want to go up very, very slowly. And actually, if you get to a level you feel comfortable with, there's probably no real benefit to hiking the amount you're spending per day anymore,
yep,
because you'll just get through your audience faster.
Yep.
So if I've got high quality leads landing on a hour by hour basis at the price I'm paying, then I'm quite happy leaving them ticking over. I check regularly that the cost per lead is not creeping up, because it will do as I get to the end of my audience. But I haven't changed my audience since I started this. I think I started paying for them at the end of February, and I haven't changed my audience since then. And as I say, it's costing me 4p a lead, although it isn't costing me 4p a lead, because it's paying for itself and I'm getting conversions. So I am eternally grateful to you for this, because it's a real win-win-win. People love the quiz. They really enjoy going through, testing their knowledge. Should we just explain what the quiz is?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've put
here we
it
go.
up here. This is actually the quiz here. So do you want to explain what the quiz is and why you created such a quiz in the first place, in terms of it being, I mean, ultimately it's around how confident you are in a medical emergency, as it says there, and you get to pick on a level of 1 to 12 if you're not confident or you're totally confident. So do you want to explain how you came about creating that in the first place, and why you chose that sort of topic?
So obviously I'm involved in first aid, so I wanted people that were interested in first aid.
Yep.
I also wanted it to be relevant to different age groups and to people. I went through the sort of top blogging side of things and the top things I get asked about on a regular basis. So, for example, what would you do if you were first on scene and someone was hit by a car? People feel very vulnerable and they don't know what to do. So I created the quiz thinking about the things that people commonly do wrong, that I don't want them to do, and what I do want them to do, and what is the gold standard in that situation. And then the bits in the middle that were sort of sensible, so that I was guiding them through to the right answer, so that they were coming to the realization that actually they wouldn't feel confident or competent if they were put in that situation. So they are then formulating it themselves, that it is their reality. Oh my goodness, I would hate to feel in that situation. I need to get first aid training. So, if we're cutting it right back, that was my thought process. So we've gone through, I can't remember now, it's so long ago. We've got hit by a car, we've got choking, we've got burns, we've got bleeding. So thinking about the top topics that I regularly get asked about.
Yeah, I think in the end it was about 8 topics that you wanted to do the quiz around.
Yeah, I didn't want it to take too long, and I wanted it to be meaningful.
Yep.
And the other absolute beauty is that engagement is key. And people like to share the results on Facebook. People like to share their experiences. So I have people saying, yes, I was first on scene. at a car accident, or yes, I did need to do CPR to someone, and this is what happened. So in terms of the engagement on the post on Facebook, it's just gone through the roof. So Facebook love it. So so the people doing the quiz like it, I like it, you like it, and Facebook absolutely love it too, because they've got something that's got high engagement, that I'm spending money behind, that I'm quite happy to spend money behind because it's making me money.
Yep.
And it's just generally working. It was very easy to create, and it's giving me high quality leads onto my list, because you can't get the answers until you put in your email address.
Yep.
Which is one thing that does offend a handful of people, not a lot of people, but a handful of people. So you do need to moderate the comments, so that if you have somebody who's whinging that they had to put in their email address, you can just either go back to them and pacify them, or if it's not a great comment, you can hide it.
Yep.
But you do need to make sure you're keeping an eye on your comments as well.
Yeah, that leads us nicely into, actually, if we look at your Facebook ads, let's just backtrack a little bit before you then have to start replying to people's comments. So here is your ad set for the first aid quiz.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in terms of how you first set up your Facebook ad, did you find that a difficult process to do? Because obviously you did it yourself, ultimately, with a little bit of guidance from a couple of people, but ultimately you sort of created the ad yourself and created the audience yourself. How did you find that process? And talk me through sort of the start of the Facebook ads, how much you were spending and how much you sort of gained to.
Mm-hmm. So it was something that daunted me for ages, trying to do Facebook ads, and it was a bit overwhelming. I'm not majorly tech savvy, and I wanted to learn what to do. I was going to crack it, basically. So I didn't want to pay somebody else to manage my ads, because I wanted ultimate control. And also, I never pay anyone to do anything unless I understand at least the rudiments, except maybe you, Steve, because it's like so off the wall what you do for me that I will never manage to do any of that. But in terms of all the elements that I think that I should be able to do, I always like to understand it and to know what I'm trying to do, what my ultimate goals are, before I pay someone to do it for me, so that then I'm able to monitor it and understand when someone's doing a good job for me or when they're not doing a good job for me.
Yep.
So it was something I wanted to crack. So I invested in a fair few courses to learn how to do it. So I went on some of Shah Wasman's courses. I went with Matt Duggan, who is fabulous at teaching this stuff.
Yes.
And I went on various other courses that are helpful. There's free ones, there's paid ones, and basically they're all teaching you the same thing. And Facebook themselves have an awful lot of information to help as well.
Yep.
So if you can pay someone else to do it, or if you want to do it for yourself, then it isn't that difficult once you've got your head clear and sorted and you can focus. And it gets quicker once you've done it a few times. So
Yep.
In terms of actually doing the ads, the basic concepts of what you're trying to do are quite simple. You want to create a really good audience. So I think this one went out to, we had Easter last year, we did an advert, very simply, it wasn't even an advert, it was something we posted through Edgar that shouldn't have gone out and had much reach at all, about, it had a picture of, it had a picture of a mini egg, and it said, this egg is the same size as your child's airway. So it went, we had millions and millions of sort of likes and shares and information, right? To such an extent it got picked up by the Mail and the Express, and
that one went viral, didn't it?
So that is the audience I used. So I had a really good audience that I could base that on. So what you need to do is either create from scratch a really good audience that you know is full of the people that you like and that like you. And then you can do a lookalike audience, which obviously makes that smaller audience massive. And, you know, the tighter the audience and the more relevant it is to you. So I think on this quiz, I think we've got a 9 or an 8 in terms of relevance score. So it means that it is being shown to people with whom it absolutely resonates with. So it's got an 8. So again, talking to the Facebook, they were really happy with that. An 8 is great. I think in the past, or if you look at it from a slightly different audience perspective or from a different slant, you get a 9. But either way, it's a relevant ad going to a relevant audience. So the key thing is that you identify what audience you need. Now, I've done a traffic campaign here, and talking to Matt Duggan, he feels I should go for a conversion campaign now because it's been running long enough. But Facebook, interestingly, felt it should still remain as a traffic. They felt that if I went for a conversion, which I probably will do as well, that I will end up with a higher cost per action. It may not be initially quite as relevant. They thought it was worth doing as another version. So what you're doing is that Facebook now know what's happening here. So the traffic, they know how to send you the very best leads to, so they send you this ad to the very best people who will like this ad. So they've got all this data from, you know, all those people that have looked at it and know how they've reacted to it. And then they will make it better and better and better. So Facebook are on your side. So if I then create a new ad and a new audience and have a different idea of what I'm doing with it, so I send it into a conversion, then I will send it to people that are most likely to buy. So it then sends it to a different group, and I shall do that next week, and we'll see what happens from that. It's been on my to-do list, and I should be doing that. But at the moment, I'm very happy with this. It's giving me traffic, it's giving me leads, quality leads, and it's giving me purchases, even though that wasn't the ultimate goal it was set up for. Obviously, in the back of our minds, we're always looking for purchases.
Yeah, exactly right. And just to let people know, in terms of this being a traffic-based ad, basically what that is when you go to create your first ad, Facebook will ask you what is the ultimate goal of the ad. So this in particular, as your example, Emma, is for more traffic. So people come in and landing on your page, which is called a landing page view. And then what you're talking about there is conversion. So you can have the ultimate goal as being, well, I want someone who actually either fills in the quiz, or the conversion might be that someone actually buys, say, an online course, as an example.
But once they've filled in the quiz, they then end up getting onto my email list. And then the CRM system that I use Infusionsoft, but people might use MailChimp or various other ones, that will then follow them up with things that I think they will find useful. So they then go into a sequence, which means that these people will hopefully become, you know, part of my tribe and be the people that will ultimately buy from me. And, you know, that's working.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, before we have a look at your sequence, just quickly, if you don't mind sharing that as well, Emma, this is your ad here. And I just wanted to pop this up just because a lot of people can be sort of put off by Facebook ads, because a lot of people tell them you have to have like a million different things that you split test in and try and...
Oh, I tried that. I gave up with split testing.
So what I love about what you've done, Emma, is you've kept things simple. You've kept it to one audience, like you said, this whole time. And then more or less it's been basically one ad.
It's been one ad, and it's an ad that breaks all the rules. Matt Duggan nearly threw his arms up in the air about this because it's got too much text on it. It's, this is my son under my car. So he could not possibly have fallen off his bike at that angle. It's not possible to do so. So it's a rubbish ad on so many levels, but it works.
Yeah,
it has worked. I might be able to do it better, but it's working, and I have limited time.
It makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, the thing is, it is simple. It's got a nice, simple, catchy headline in terms of could you cope in an emergency? Would you know what to do? It's obviously quite emotional response because it's obviously could be your own son lying there or someone else's son that you see. And then interesting thing, you've got a lot of shares happening and a lot of comments. Mm-hmm. Now, you brushed on a little bit earlier about the comments and replying to those. How do you go about managing all of them when you have so many coming in?
It's easy. It's fine. Yep. Yeah, you're just replying, you're liking. I mean, it's what you do normally in social media. I mean, it's social media. If you're just not engaging at all, then social media is not going to work for you. So it doesn't take long. I tend to, again, break a rule that you're not meant to do. So I will always look at my phone first thing in bed before I get up and go through. And I will literally go through the Facebook Pages app on my phone and see if there's any comments that I should reply to. I always reply to comments. I think it's really important. I always like shares because I think it's important. So lots of people as well. There'll be groups of friends and they're all trying to do it as a challenge with each other, which is rather great. So they'll go, oh, what did you get? Oh, I got this. And so you get that sort of things. You get lots of really emotive comments as well that you have to respond to quickly. So it's not a major hassle at all.
Yep. That's good to know. And then before we go on to just looking at your funnel to nurture everyone, which I know you've already sort of touched base, it is so important. In terms of this ad, when you first started it, how much were you spending a day? Because I know you're spending about £36 a day now.
I think I started under £5 a day.
Yep.
And I ran that for 2 or 3 months at that level.
Yep. So quite some time.
And even before I started boosting it, it was going well. So, I would say don't put money behind anything until you know it's doing well. You know that I created a dog first aid quiz at the same time, and I haven't managed to get that to do anything like as well as this. Yeah. It's on my to-do list to tweak it and get it sorted because I know it will work. It's a different audience, but I know the concept will work, but it hasn't worked for that one yet. So what I would like to say as well is if it's not working as well as you want initially, don't give up on it. Tweak it, sort it, and it will work for you. Just you need to find out what resonates with your audience.
Yeah.
So I was lucky with this one. The first ad I put together worked and resonated. And in the future, I will try some different ads, and I'll need to try some different audiences as well, because at some point, I will exhaust the audience that this current one is going to.
Yep.
And I'll need to extend. So at the moment, I think it's a 1% really tight audience, lookalike audience on that successful campaign previously. And I may need to go to a 3%. Or go to a completely different audience based on another lead magnet that you've been doing too.
Yep. And
the other thing as well, which I was trying, which actually worked quite well, but not brilliantly, and again, I need to probably tweak it, is I then divided the answers for this quiz up into 3, or you divided them up for me very kindly, into 3 different groupings. So I had people that absolutely bummed out and they really didn't know any first aid. I had people that were pretty good. They were okay, but they weren't great. And I had people that were really quite confident on what they were doing, but there were a few things that they could perfect. And I did a video aimed at each one of those audiences. And I put that video out with the answers to the quiz, explaining what they could do better and what was right. And then I gave them a free ebook on first aid in the home to take away with them. And those ads were a lot more expensive to run, and I've stopped them for the moment because I think I can perfect them better. But they were certainly converting. So in terms of retargeting people through Facebook as well, and actually pulling up how they've done and then sending a specific ad to them that resonates even tighter. I mean, what you're trying to do each time is talk on a one-to-one almost with the most relevant person to your ad. That's what you're trying to do. So you're trying to target so that you're absolutely talking to your target audience each time and getting exactly an on-point message into them, because then they're more likely to buy.
Yep, spot on. Very, very good advice there, Emma. Now, let's just then have a sneak peek, if you don't mind, at your scorecard funnel.
Oh, this will scare people. This does my head in.
So obviously this is in Infusionsoft, which is one of the CRMs that exist out there, and a lot of them can do similar sort of things, although Infusionsoft is quite sophisticated in the way it works. Now, how have you found your nurture campaign working in terms of what you have here is more or less after somebody fills in your quiz, you're then sending them a free download for something else, a free article, giving them access to a sneak peek of a free online course, which is fantastic. You're then trying to do your upsells. You're then trying to do a bit of a social plug to get them into your groups. So you're doing quite a lot here, which is pretty cool. And you're constantly sending them and nurturing them and giving them more and more value. So just talk me through your thinking here and how it's been going.
Well, I haven't seen this for a while, actually. It's quite exciting because those little 14K, 17K, 16K, 15K are the number of people actually in that stage of the funnel at this precise moment, which is seriously cool. I mean, thank you, Steve. That is seriously cool. So that is people who have done this bit and then done this bit and then now have got to this bit. And if you add them up, that's a heck of a lot of people, which is great. And they also ultimately join my main list as well. And they've got big buttons all over the place that tells them that they can unsubscribe at any time.
By the way, if you look at the right-hand side, you have a huge open rate. I mean, these days with emails, and by the way, these are all GDPR compliant, aren't they, as well?
Yeah.
But all of these emails being opened up, a good open rate, generally speaking, for a nurturing campaign. If you're getting 15% or more, you're doing really, really well. A standard one is probably around 10% these days. So to get 20% plus, I mean, that's obviously an indication of the level of interaction of this audience, which is pretty amazing.
Cool. I haven't seen this before. It's really cool. Thank you. So what we wanted to do was just work out what we thought people would value. It's all about the give, and then maybe ask.
Yep.
But make sure you give value and give your good stuff. You know, it's got to be valuable. It's got to be, a really relevant article. You know, we're giving a free online course there, and then we're offering a mega discount off the next course if they want it. They've got a fair amount of value before they've got to that point. So they've got a free ebook that takes them through. It's a really valuable, really well written book that takes them through what to do in an emergency for all the different elements. They've then got, I can't remember what the article is. It'll be on head injuries or choking or something, but it'll be really relevant. And on some of the other ones as well, we can even break this out even further depending on what their response is and target them even closer. And this is on Infusionsoft, sometimes mentioned as sort of Confusionsoft, because it is more complicated than it maybe needs to be. So, things like MailChimp and Constant Contact and
Active Campaign.
Active Campaign. Active Campaign is like a simpler version of Infusionsoft.
Exactly.
They will all do the job perfectly well for you. It depends how big your list is and how complex you want to communicate. But the concept is the same. You want to give value, really, really good value. Don't be worried about giving away your best stuff, because if people really like what you're giving them, they will still come back and buy from you. To give value, they have to feel that they are engaged in this, and it's a two-way process.
Yep.
And that's what you're doing. You're nurturing them so that hopefully they will like you and want to stay. And make it easy for them to unsubscribe, because you don't want people on your list who don't want your stuff. It's not good for your list. So, GDPR compliance is good news for us, because we have cleaned up our lists for everyone as business owners, and hopefully you'll get far more engaged customers as a result.
Yeah, spot on. Very well said. Now, talking about giving value and giving really good content. One of the things I wanted to ask you about, Emma, in terms of even your ad, because I know obviously the quiz is based on a lot of them. You see here at the very top of your ad, you've got First Aid for Life, which is your Facebook page. Now, aside from your funnel and giving away free articles and all that sort of stuff, I know you do a lot of sort of continual trust building and giving away great content and things like that on your Facebook page itself. Because obviously when somebody is looking at your ad, if they can see this at the very top, quite a high percentage of people will click onto that and check you out and make sure you're a legitimate business. So what sort of things do you do on your Facebook page in terms of what sort of posts do you do there, or Facebook Lives?
Loads of Facebook Lives. Facebook Lives are another sort of big game changer for me since they started. The amount of shares and interaction you get on a Facebook Live far exceeds any other sort of videoing. And I'm not sure that InstaTV will completely compete with that. It might do. It's still quite new, but I'm not sure. But in terms of for us, Facebook Live works brilliantly. Do it regularly, do it consistently. So I can't manage to do a set time on a set day every week, but it will either be a Monday evening or a Tuesday morning. And we will do, I'll do a Facebook Live on humans and a Facebook Live on First Aid for Pets. And that will then go, and we put it through Rev, so it's subtitled or captions.
Rev.com,
yeah, Rev.com, because it has to be captioned, because it's something ridiculous, like 80% of videos are watched without the sound. So yeah, it's a dollar a minute, and it's really easy to do. So caption them. You can transcribe them as well for free on that if you've got your captions. It's not something we do regularly, but you can. And then we use that as the basis of our newsletter. So we will have a Facebook Live. We will have a new and topical blog on First Aid for Life, onlinefirstaid.com, and First Aid for Pets. And our newsletter goes out on a Wednesday morning. So Mondays and Tuesdays are content creation. They're creating really high quality shareable content on each of our platforms, because if you blog regularly on your platforms, and when the Google spiders go across, they find the new stuff and then they rate it higher. And other people finding it out there as well will link back to it. They go, oh, hey, this is quite a good site. And then you end up being a high traffic site. And yeah, it works. So we will have new stuff going out at least once a week on each one of our sites, and that is absolutely critical. So we've got two that have gone out, October the 22nd, October the 23rd, but it needs to be at least once a week. They like the search element that you've got up on there as well. It was really good. Steve, you created a fantastic site for me. So can I say Steve is absolutely brilliant at creating really sensible sites, and he gets into your business to identify exactly what you need, and then we'll tailor the site to make sure that it works for you, which is absolutely, fundamental. You've got to have a really good site because your site is your shop window. And if your site isn't clean and crisp and user friendly, and if you're not updating it regularly as well, because once it gets stale, the Google spiders need to have new stuff to look at, and if they see it as something that's not loved and cared for, then it will start to slip in its ratings.
Yeah, spot on. Well, Emma, this has been a super session. Absolutely super value. Thank you so much for first of all speaking to me today, and for being so open about everything that you've done so far in terms of your business, your marketing, and in particular how you've gone about marketing your quiz, showing us all through the Facebook ads, letting us look at what you're doing with your follow-up funnel, talking about your audiences, your retargeting, and then obviously the other stuff that you're doing in terms of trust building. It's been a pretty amazing session, I must say myself, so thank you.
Oh, absolute pleasure. We've been friends for ages. You've been absolutely integral to the building of my business. Steve has built all my sites. Steve has built all my online courses, and Steve has helped me with all my quizzes and getting them set up and sorted. And he's an absolute darling to work with. Very responsive. Really understands and gets to grips with the business, and I can't thank you enough. So I hope this has all been useful for other people out there too.
Yeah, I do too, and you're far too kind, so thank you for that. It's definitely been a team effort, but hopefully I'm sure this video will be super valuable. Now, if anyone else out there listening to this is interested in any first aid courses, if you have kids and you want to learn more about that, particularly the online courses are really cool. I've gone through this quite a few times, where you can learn about how to look after a baby if you have a baby, if you have kids, if you have grandparents. It's a step-by-step with videos by Emma and a whole bunch of other things that you can go through.
And if you scan down, you can see that you've got free choking course there as well. So make sure you're giving value. Giving free stuff on your sites is really important.
Absolutely, yeah. There's so much free stuff on your sites. It's a bit crazy sometimes, but it just works because people obviously love free things, and then they get into your funnel and then you build them up, and then they get to learn more and more about you. So, Emma, thank you again. I'm going to leave it at that and let you get on with the rest of your day because I know you're a busy woman.
Thank you very much. No, it's been an absolute pleasure as always.
All right, Emma. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you again.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow, what an amazing video, hey? I mean, she has just completely opened up and completely transparent about everything that she's doing in her business, particularly around the Facebook, the sales funnels, but also all the different trust building things she's doing, or the different content that she's building. I recommend looking out to her website and checking out some of the different things that she has on there as well. Now, if you do want a quiz of your own, of course, we can help you there. What we do all day, every day at SMA Digital is different things like sales funnels, websites, and of course quizzes has become a really nice niche of ours and a real specialty of ours. So do get in touch with us. There'll be some links below of how to do, sort of get in touch, have a meeting with one of us and figure out what the next steps are to see whether a quiz might be appropriate for you and your business. So get in touch and we can take it from there. Anyway, I hope it's been super valuable, and hope to hear from you soon. Cheers.